Hey everyone, welcome to Data Millennials. I'm Atul and I'm super excited to talk about the SQL joint clause in today's video. So in this video we are going to discuss about different type of joins, as well as we are going to work with the inner join and example of inner join in this video. Although we will take an overview of different kind of joins that we have in SQL. So let's go and understand what exactly is a join. So a join clause in SQL is used to combine rows from two or more than two tables based on a related column between them. When I'm saying related column between them, this means that there are two different tables or more than two different tables, and all of those tables can be connected through a common related column. So you might be thinking that why do we need joins in SQL when we have table and we can have all our data in a single table? But that is not the case in day-to-day life. What happens is that our data is distributed among multiple tables, and what we have to do as a data analyst or a business analyst is to combine all of those tables to get our data. So let's go and take an example. So I have three tables here: the student data, student course data, and student marks data. All of these tables will have a common key between them, and we will try to join these tables using that common key. But before we go and write query for join, let's try to understand the data in these tables. So if I go to my Excel sheet, you will see that I have three tables here: student data, student course data, and student marks data. So all of these tables have certain number of rows and they have data points, right? Now if I describe this student data, you can see that we have roll number, class, name, phone number, and age. And just for the sake of data, I have taken 10 rows so that it will be easier for us to understand the query and the output that we will get from multiple joins. So in this student data table, we have 10 rows. So this means that we have 10 student and their details. And then we have another table which is student course data. In this table, we have somewhat around 70 rows, and all of these rows specifies that which roll number or which student have taken or enrolled to a particular course. So ideally all of the students have to enroll at least 5 courses. So as a sample, I have taken 5 courses for roll number 1, and you can see here is that roll number 1 is Amit and he has taken 5 courses. Similarly, the student will have to appear for the examination, and all of these 5 courses marks are present here. So all of these 3 tables which is present in my Excel are present in our SQL database by the name of student data, student course data, and student marks data. So if I run this student data, you will see that we have details about the students who are present in a university or in a school, and all of the details are here. Now if I run this query, this table student course data contains 60 rows where a single roll number will be appearing 5 times because each student has taken 5 different courses. Now if I run this query, so this table student marks data has 5 records for each and every student, because each course will have their own marks, whatever they have obtained in their examination. So in this video, we will discuss about the inner join. So let's go and find out what exactly is this inner join. So inner join, in a simpler word, returns records that have matching values in both of the table. When I'm saying matching values in both of the table, this means that whenever we will join or we will use this inner join clause, we will be joining by a common column between both of those tables. So for our student table, we have this roll number, and in course table we have this roll number, and using this roll number column we can join both of these tables. So ideally what will happen is that we'll take one row from student table and join it with this table. Then there should be ideally 5 rows should be coming in our output, so that we can have all the details related to Amit. Now if I show you that how exactly that inner join works, consider that we have a table, student table, as a left table or table A, and the course table is a table B, and you can consider course table as the right table. Now if I join both of these tables, we will be joining by the common key, which is roll number, and in your student data we have one record for each of the student, while in your course data you have 5 records for a single student. So when you will be using the inner join, you will see that you will have 5 records, and each record is corresponding to its own courses. So this inner join in SQL selects all the rows from both of the table as long as the condition satisfies, and this keyword, this inner join keyword, will create the result set by combining the entire rows from both of the table where the condition satisfies, and it will also give us all of the record from the table 2, or you can say table B, only for those roll number which are present in our table A. This means that when we will be using the inner join, it will only give us the record for roll number 1 to roll number 10, because if you see in this table we have certain other roll numbers also. For example, we have roll number 11 and roll number 12, this roll number 11 and roll number 12, which is not present in our student data. So when you will be using an inner join, the inner join only gives you the output which is common between student data and student course data. So let's go and see how we can use this inner join in our SQL table or in our SQL query. So what we need to do is that we need to get the entire detail of a student, that what courses they have enrolled for. So what I'll do is that I'll simply write select star from student data. So our student data will be our left table, and what we have to do here is that we have to put an alias for our student data. So we'll put the alias as st, and then we'll simply put this keyword inner join, and then after inner join we'll put the second table or our right table. So for us, consider the student table as a left table and student course table as a right table. So we'll put this student course data table after inner join, and we will give alias to this table also as scd. So st stands for student table and scd stands for student course data. Now in order to work out this inner join, we have to use a common key between both of these tables. The common key between both of these two tables is the roll number. So now the keyword for this inner join goes something like this, that we have to give the common column, and to give that common column we have to use this on keyword. So what we are doing is that we are saying take the entire table, student table, and inner join it with the student course data on this particular column or using this particular column. So the column would be sd dot roll number. So sd stands for student data, so sd dot roll number equal to scd dot roll number. Now if I run this query, what should actually be our output? The output would be the total number of record which is present in student data and which is common to student course data. So before I run this query, let's see the records present in student data. So if I run this query, I have 10 record here, right? And all of these 10 records should be present in this student course data. So now if I run this query, there are 60 records, and if you see the first 5 records, you will be able to understand that each roll number is repeating 5 times because each of the student has taken 5 different courses, right? So ideally our output should be roll number 1, and there should be 5 different record for roll number 1. Now if I run this inner join query, you can see here that we have 50 records, right? And you can see that roll number 1 is repeating 5 times. So the name is also repeating 5 times, and roll number, this roll number and this roll number are different in sense that this first column roll number is coming from student data, while this second roll number column is coming from the student course data. So I was saying you that there are five records for each and every student. Now what happened to the other record that is present in the course data? So we had already seen in the starting of this video that we had roll number 11 and roll number 12. If I go back to my Excel sheet, you can see that we have roll number 11 and roll number 12 here in course data. Okay, and let's go back to our SQL result set and see that whether roll number 11 and roll number 12 are present or not. So you can see here is that roll number 10 is there, but post roll number 10 we don't have any record, and the reason for that is that inner join always selects the record which is common between these two tables. So this roll number 11 and roll number 12 is not present in our left table, which is student data. That's why this roll number 11 and roll number 12's data is not present in our result set. Now you might be thinking is that if I have to select certain columns from this student table and few column or single column course name from our student course table, then how can I do it? So that would be very simple. What we'll do is that we will use this alias which we have given for student data and this alias for student course data to identify the column names, and then we'll put it after the select. So we'll simply put st dot roll number comma st dot class comma st dot name comma st dot age. Let's remove phone number, and then we'll put scd, which is our alias for student course data. We'll put scd dot course. And now if I'll run this query, we will only get these 5 columns. So this roll number, class, name and age from this student data, and this course column, this course name column from this student course data. So if I run this query now, as I said, we had only 5 columns: roll number, class, name and age coming from this student data, and this course name is coming from this student course data. Now think of a scenario that you have to join two tables using this inner join, but you also have to put a condition saying that the course should be only this particular, or you can say that we want to filter out only those students who have only course 2 or course 3. Then how we can do that? So when you use this join and you use this syntax saying that on which column you have to join it, after that you can put a where condition saying that where. Now it's important that you have to put alias and the column name on which you want to put a filter. So for us, we will be filtering on the student course data where the course name is equal to course 2. So I'll say where scd dot course name equal to, and I'll put course 2. Now if I run this query, ideally I should get only 10 record, because in my left table I have only 10 record for 10 students, and all of those students have taken course 2. So ideally my result set should contain only 10 records for each and every student with the course name 2. Okay, so as I said, our result is here after running this query, and you can see that we have only 10 records here, and the course name is course 2 only. So this is how you basically use inner join to select all the rows from 2 or more than 2 tables based on a common satisfying column. So let's go ahead and discuss about this left join. So what exactly is this left join? In our previous video we discussed about the inner join. Left join is also a type of SQL joins, and it returns all the record from the left table. So let me show you an example. So suppose we have two tables here, table A and table B. So this left join returns all of the rows of the table on the left hand side of this join and matches rows from the table on the right hand side of the join. This means that this join will take a common key from table A, which is equivalent to the common key of table B, and it will match that key and return all of the record from table A and the existing record from table B. The rows for which there is no matching on the right hand side, the result set will contain null. So basically what happens is that if there are few records which is present in table A and it's not present in table B, then the output will contain the null values for the table B column, while table A data will be there in our result set. So let's go and see few of the example here. We have two tables here, student data and student course data. In our student data we have 10 record of students, while in our student course data we have 11 different students and their courses enrolled. So let's suppose that we have taken this student course data as our left table or table 1 and student data as our right table or table 2, and when we use left join to join this student course data with this student data, then ideally what will happen is that if we take age, or suppose we have taken only student age from this student data, then all of these records will have a particular age for all of these roll numbers which is present in student data. But when we'll come to this roll number 11 and this roll number 12, we will have null records in age column. So this is how basically the left join works in SQL. So let's go and write a query on our workbench to see whether our result, to see how does this left join works. So we have this student data where we have 10 records, and we have this student course data where we have 60 records, and in this records we have extra roll number 11 and roll number 12, and both of these two roll numbers are present in 5 different rows because each student has to take 5 different courses. Now if we consider this student course data as our left table, okay, and we'll join this table with this student data and we have to get their age, then let's see what would be the output. So we'll simply write select star from this student course data table, and we will give an alias to this table as scd, and then we'll put this left join keyword. After this left join keyword we will put the second table which is our student data, and we'll give an alias to this table also. So we'll give as st, and then we have to give the common column between these two tables on which the left join is going to work. So we'll put on scd dot roll number equal to st dot roll number. Now if I run this query, ideally I should have 60 records, and for all of those roll number except roll number 11 and roll number 12, everything should have their data, and for this roll number 11 and roll number 12 we will have null records. So let's run this query. Okay, we have 60 rows returned in our output. From roll number 1 till roll number 10 you can see that we have age, while from roll number 11 till roll number 12 we have null values, and the reason being is that in our student data we do not have any record corresponding to roll number 11 and roll number 12. Now suppose you have to only select few columns from both of these two tables, then how can you do that? Suppose you have to select only roll number and you have to select age, then how can you do that? For that you simply have to give the alias of the table and you have to give roll number. So let's give scd dot roll number. So we are taking roll number from this student course data, and now I want this age from this student data table. So we'll put sd dot age. So again, the first table after from is student course data, so this table will be considered as the left table, and this student data is the second table, so this will be considered as the right table. Now if I run this query now, I should only get multiple record of a single roll number. So ideally there should be 5 record for each and every roll number, because we have duplicacy in our table. So if I run this query, you can see we have 60 records here, and 1 is repeating 5 times, right? 2 is repeating 5 times, while for roll number 11 and roll number 12 we have null values of age. Now assume that you do not want this duplicacy in your result set, you just want the distinct value of each and every roll number, because it doesn't make sense for us to have multiple record for a single roll number, right? So if you want the distinct record, then what you can do is that you can simply put this distinct keyword in front of that column based on which you want the distinct result set. So I have given distinct before this roll number, and now if I'll run this query, I'll get the distinct record of each and every student. So you can see here now that roll number 1 is repeating only 1 time. We do not have any duplicacy here. And similarly for roll number 11 and 12 we have null in age, because the student data doesn't have roll number 11 and roll number 12. Now let's take one more example with this left join. Suppose you have to put a filter, or you have to filter out your record based on a certain criteria when you're using join, then how you can do it. So when you're using left join or any other join, you have to use the alias and the column name in the where clause to filter out your record. Suppose we want all of those record which is present in student course data, but we want only those record which doesn't have null values in age. So ideally our result set should not contain roll number 11 and roll number 12 because it has null in age. So how we can do that? We can simply put a where condition here saying that where sd dot age is not null. This means that what this query will do is that it will join both of these two tables based on a common column which is roll number, and then it will evaluate whether the age is null or not. And if the age is null, then the result will be filtered out. So let's go and run this query. Now we have 10 rows returned in our result set, and you can see that we have roll number 1 till roll number 10 and all their respective ages here. So this is how basically you use left join in SQL. So let's go and see what exactly is this right join in SQL. So right join is similar to left join, which we discussed in our previous video, but this join returns all the rows of the table on the right hand side of the join and matches row from the table on the left hand side of the join. So the rows of which there is no matching row on the left side, the result will contain null. This means that if we have two tables, so for join the minimum should be the two tables. So if we have two tables here, table 1 is this student course data and table 2 is student data, and this is our main table, and we want all of the record from this table, but we have to keep this table on the right hand side, not on the left hand side. And then we want to join it with this student record data. Then ideally all of these records which is present in this table should be there, and rest whatever record we are getting from student data will be present based on this roll number. If this roll number 1 is present in this student data, then you will get this record, else you will get null values. So if I want to describe this right join in a better way, then you can see this picture where we have two tables, table A and table B. Table B is our right table while table A is our left table, and when we join both of these two tables, then you will get all of the record from table B and the matching record of table A based on the columns on which you are joining these two tables. So let's go and write some query using this right join. So suppose you want all the record which is present in student course data. While you want to match the record with this student data and get the further more detail of those students, then how can you do it? The simplest way to do that is that you will write select star from student course data, and you will give an alias to this table. So we'll put scd, and then you will put the keyword right join. Okay, after this right join, you will give the table student data, which is our table A. So when you have seen this picture, for table A we are using student data, for table B we are using this course data, student course data. Now after we put second table, we have to give alias for this table also. We'll put st, and then we have to give the column on which we are joining these two tables. So I'll put scd.roll number, because roll number is the common column between student course data and student data. So I'll put scd.roll number equal to sd.roll number, and then I'll run this query. Before I run this query, let's go and see how many records are present in this student course data. So if I run this query, select star from student course, you will see that you have 60 rows. When I run this query, select star from student data, we have only 10 rows. Now if I run our right join query, we should ideally get 60 record in our output. So we have got 50 records here. Reason being is that this student table is our right table as per the query, and this student data has only 10 record, and for each of a single student we have 5 different record in our database, right? So that's why we are getting only 50 record. But if we want all of the records from this student course data, what we can do is that we can take this student course data and put it in the right hand side, and student data on the left hand side. And now if I run this query, we should get all of those 60 records. There you go, you have 60 rows returned, and all of those records are there. Only for roll number 11 and roll number 12 you will have null values, because for this roll number 11 and roll number 12 we do not have any data in our student data. So this is how basically you use right join in SQL. Now think of a scenario where you have to get only selected columns when you are using right join. Then how you can do it? So you have to use alias and column name to get the respective columns. So suppose I want this name and I want course name only. So this name is from student data and this course is from student course data. So to get these two columns, what I can do is that I can write sd.name comma scd.course name. And then if I run this query, I should get 60 rows returned, where there will be 10 rows of null, because we have duplicate rows for each and every student in student course data. So we are getting 60 rows here with name and course name. And in last, for roll number 11 and roll number 12, you can see that we have null values here. Now if you want to have a distinct value and you don't want this duplication of data, what you can simply do is that you can put distinct here, and when you will run this query you will have 55 records here, because we have 5 different courses tagged to a single student. Now suppose that you want to put a filter after this query. Let's take an example is that we have this null in names, right? And we do not want that null value in names, or we want to filter out all of those null values from our result set. Then how we can do that? In order to do that, what you have to do is that you have to put a where condition. So after the right join and after this on key, we will put where, and then this name is coming from this student data, so we'll put this sd.name column is not null. Now when you run this query, okay, so we have an error here, and the error is because there is no space between name and is, so we have to give a space where sd.name is not null. So when we run this query, you will see we have been returned with 50 rows, and that null value in name is not appearing in our result set. So this is how basically you use right join in SQL. So SQL have a full join, and this full join creates the result set by combining the result of both left table and the right table. The result set will contain all the records from both of the table, and if the rows of the tables are not matching based on the common column, then the result set will contain null values. So let's go and see if we have two tables, table A and table B, and we are using this full join, then we will have both of these two tables joined together on a common key, and all the records from table A as well as all the records from table B will be joined together, and we will have the entire data set in our result set. So ideally what should happen is that, suppose I have this table, or let's take this student course data and student marks data. Now if we join both of these two tables in our full join, then we will have all of these records as well as all of these records as a combining result of both of these two tables. Now let's go to our SQL workbench and write some query for this SQL full join. So what we'll do is that we'll take this student data as our left table and student course data as our right table. So let's put select star from this student data, and then put full join, and then we'll put this student course data. Now we have to give alias to both of these two tables. For student data I am giving SD, and for student course data I am giving SCD, and then we should put a joining key or the common column between these two tables. So for us the common column is roll number, so I put sd dot roll number equal to scd dot roll number. Now you can see here is that we have a error which is shown by our SQL workbench saying that full is not valid at this position, expecting end of file and this semicolon. So why is that? You might be thinking that why the full join or full outer join is not working in MySQL. So MySQL does not have syntax keyword full outer join or full join. You have to use combination of left join and right join to obtain the actual full join. You are getting this error, or I am getting this error, because MySQL does not support or recognize this full outer join syntax. So what we have to do is that we have to write a left join and right join, and then we have to use a union clause to append both of these two joins output. So in previous SQL versions you might be able to use this full join keyword, but this SQL workbench version does not support this full join. So let me show you how you can do that. So what we can do is that we can simply put left join here, okay, and let's run this query. So ideally we should get 50 rows, because in our student data we have 10 rows here, okay. If I run this query, we have 10 rows here, and in our student course data we have 60 rows, because there are two extra students, roll number 11 and roll number 12 are there, and each student in this table has 5 different courses. So when you will join these tables, for each and every student you will have 5 records. So when I run this query, I am getting 50 rows, okay. Now what we need to do here is that we need to again create the same query, but instead of left join, what we have to do here is that we have to give right join. Okay, and then we have to run this query. But right now you can see that I am having this error saying that select is not valid here. So what I can do is that I can put a semicolon here, and now if I run this query, I should ideally get 60 rows. So that is what I am getting, 60 rows in my output. Now if I basically remove this semicolon and if I use union, and then if I run this entire query, you will see that I'm getting 60 rows here. Okay, and by default the union operator select only the distinct value, so we are getting 60 rows here. Okay, and for roll number 11 and roll number 12 we are getting the null values, because this roll number 11 and roll number 12 is not present in our student data. So although the newer version of SQL does not support this full join, because they does not have the keyword full outer join or full join, we can still get our full join working in SQL using the combination of left join and right join. So this is how basically you can apply full join in SQL. We are going to discuss about joining multiple tables. So suppose you have three tables here: student data, student course data, and student marks data. In your student data table you have details about a student, and then in your student course data you have details about the course on which the students has enrolled, while this student marks data has students marks for their corresponding subjects or their corresponding course. Now if you have to join all of these three tables, then how you can join it? So let's go to our SQL workbench and first run all of these three select star from queries to see how exactly the data is in our SQL table. So the first query, select star from student data. So if I run this query, I'm getting 10 records here, where all of these records are for student. Now if I run this course data, I have 60 records here, and each of these students have been enrolled in 5 different courses, so there are duplicacy in roll number, but these records are unique at a roll number and course name level. Now if I run this student marks data, I can see again I have 60 rows returned, and there are 3 columns: roll number, course name, and marks. So this table contains marks for each and every courses for every student. So what we have to do is that we have to get this name and their class as well as their roll number. From student course data we have to get the courses in which they have enrolled, and from student marks data we have to get how many marks they have obtained in each and every course. So to do that, what we have to do is that simply we have to consider our student data as the first table or the left extreme table. So we'll simply put select, and for an instance keep star here, select star from this student data. Okay, and we'll give an alias to this table as SD, and now I'll remove this star and I'll put SD dot roll number comma SD dot class comma SD dot name. Now if I run this query, I should get 10 records from this student data table that has roll number, class, and name. Now what I will do is that I'll simply left join this entire table student data with our student course data table. So I'll put left join and I'll put this student course data, and I'll give an alias to this table as SCD, and then I have to keep the joining keys on SD dot roll number equal to SCD dot roll number. Now from this student course data I need the course name, so I'll put SCD dot course underscore name. And now if I'll run this query, I should get 60 records. Reason being, each and every student has been enrolled in 5 different courses, and all of those courses are present in this table. And in this table, each student has 5 records here with their course name. So now if I run this query, and we are getting 50 rows because our student data is the left table, and when we have used left join, then this left join will always return those record which is present in student data only. And in our student course data, you can see here is that we have roll number 11 and 12 which is not present in our student data. Thus this roll number 11 12 data has been excluded from our result set. So we have received 50 rows. Now what we need to do here is that once we have our course name, we need to get the total marks that has been obtained in each and every courses by these students, right? Now again we will use this left join only, and with this left join, this second left join, we will use this student marks table. Okay, and let's run this student marks table here and see what all columns we have. We have roll number, course name and marks. So what we will do is that we will use multiple columns to join this particular table. So first of all, we have to give an alias to this table, so we'll put the alias as SMD. Okay, and then the first common key or the first joining key that we will be giving is this sd dot roll number is equal to smd dot roll number. Okay, and we will be using this bracket key because whenever you are using more than one common keys to join two tables, then you have to use brackets, and within brackets you have to give the joining keys. So within bracket we will put sd dot roll number equal to smd dot roll number, and then we'll put a condition saying that and scd, this table student course data, scd dot course name is equal to smd dot course name. Now let's run this query, and we got an error because we missed this on key. So we'll put on, and then let's run this query. Okay, now we have our result set and we have 50 rows returned, and for each of these students we are getting their marks, right? So you must be thinking that why we have used this and scd dot course name is equal to smd dot course name. Why we cannot use only roll number and join this student marks data with this student data? So there is a reason behind it. Before I tell you the reason, let's remove this and part, okay, as well as this bracket, and let's run this query. Right now you can see that for Amit, let's take first row only. Amit course 1 has 84 marks, right? And we do not have any other record for Amit course 1 in this entire table. Okay, so what we'll do is that we have removed AND condition in this joining key for this course, and now let's run this query. If I run this query, you have 250 records returned, and the reason being is that in your student data you have 10 records. In your student course data you have 60 records, and in student marks data you have 60 records, and it is getting cross multiplied for each and every record. So let me show you in Excel that what exactly happens here. Let's take an example of Amit here, and we are taking all of these columns. Okay, so what happens is that we have taken our student data as a left table. So when roll number is 1 and Amit is there and its age is 11, and when we are joining it with this table, the student course data, So there are 5 different records for Amit. Okay, and when you join it, what happens is that on roll number 1 you have 5 different records. You have 5 different records for Amit, saying that Amit has been enrolled in course 1. Also, Amit is enrolled in course 2, as well as he is enrolled in course 3, course 4 and course 5. So that's why we have 5 different records for Amit when we join this student data with this student course data. Now let's take this table also into our consideration. So here we have roll number 1, course 1 and 84. Now when you join this part of this query, left join student marks on as SMD on roll number, then basically what happens is that it take a single row, this one, and it matches it with this entire row. So that's why what happened here is that it took a single row for this Amit where age is 1, course is 1, okay, and marks is 84. So let's remove this thing and let's put marks 84 here, because for course 1 Amit has marks 84 here, okay. And when you have multiple rows, so it basically cross multiplied it for each and every row. So you can see here roll number is 1, roll number is 1, and again in this table you have roll number 1 with marks 84. So this 84 is getting duplicated for all of these records. Similarly for Amit, what will happen here is that for course 2 we will have similarly the second marks, which is 71, will be repeating here. So that's why for a single person who is Amit, we will be getting around 25 rows here. So let's go and check our output. Okay, so for Amit we have course 1 84, Amit course 1 71, course 1 90, course 1 74, course 1 87. So if you go to your Excel sheet, you will see that Amit has obtained all of these marks in different courses, but when you are only using roll number to match it, then you are getting 5 different rows for a single course 1. So what happens is that when you have a duplicacy of data in your tables, then you have to find out by joining which keys you will get the distinct record. That's why in our previous version of query we had used brackets, and within these brackets we have used course ID or course name here to get our specific marks for specific courses for each and every student. So this is how basically you use multiple columns in a join clause. If you want to learn more about SQL, you can click on the right hand side of this video, or if you are interested in Excel, you can click on the left hand side of this video. Happy learning and see you in the next video.